the CMA, I have to be all for this session. Today we are having very interesting personality. We are having Swami Vivekananda Ji for this share from God's mother. He gathered all over the world with us. Swami Vivekananda, partly we are calling her as Mataji. Mataji has been a senior disciple of Sri Gurudev Swami Satchidananda Maharaj since 1974. Some of you might have heard about Swami Satchidananda. Swami Satchidananda is from Coimbatore, that is from Chettipalayam, very near to this place. And he was traveling all over the world and he settled at Virginia, USA, and he built a very big temple called Lotus, right off 2 acres of shrine, in about 1,000 acres, in a 1,000-acre land it is. So, with the ashram, of course, with the ashram temple. So, as Mataji had lived and served in the Yogaville, the ashram was called Yogaville ashram for more than 15 years in variety of positions, including personal secretary to our Swamiji, ashram president, and international branch coordinator of the worldwide integral yoga institutions. There are a lot of institutions around the world, including one in Bangalore. From 1989 to 95, Mataji served in Bangalore, and together with Roots Chairman Mr. K. Ramaswamy, is the managing director of Swami Satchidananda Foundation, established the first integral yoga institute in India. The Coimbatore Center was conceived and developed by Mataji. And he served as an executive secretary for about 6 years, and also taught yoga at several local schools, colleges, and businesses, and addressed various civic organizations. Mataji now serves the Integral Yoga Institute as an advisory capacity and participates in many of the programs. Currently, Mataji is also serving as a faculty resource person, school counselor, and value education teacher at CS Academy in Coimbatore, as well as the community at large. As the founder and managing trustee of the Light of Yoga Trust, she is assisting poor families with their children's education needs, clean water projects, and a variety of other basic communities from their surveillance. Apart from that, Mataji is the chairperson for the locally at the Swamiji's birthplace. We are building up their temple like what we are having in Virginia. This is also called as a Lotus temple. In India, we are trying to build. For that, Mataji is this chairperson for the committee. With these few words, I request Mataji to take care of this. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Maybe some of you met me last year when I came. I spoke on ethics and values in business. And when Shirley B.S. Prophet invited me to come back again this year, I was very happy because we had a very nice response from this group. And tonight, though, I'm going to have you also participate and add, because the subject for the evening is how to build a healthy environment in the workplace. Now, what do we mean by that? I'm not going to talk about yoga. I'm not going to talk about vegetarian diet. I'm not going to talk about no smoking, no drinking. I'm going to talk about making the workplace a happy place that you love to go to. Because, especially the men, you know, most of you are going to be working 30, 40 years at least in a job. And if you go into a job every single day, hating what you do, dreading going in and facing the people with all the problems, your life is going to be like a torture. Is there anybody in this room that does not want to be happy? Okay. Is there anybody in this room that does not want peace? Okay. That is the universal desire of everyone. Is this microphone, is it too close? So, when you get up in the morning, you should get up looking forward to going to your job, whatever it is, whether it's in the service field or whether you're an employer, whether you're an employee, whether you're middle management, it doesn't matter. Every single single person that comes into the workplace would love to be happy. You spend more time in the workplace than you do with your family. By the time you get home at night, you're tired. You just want to take a bath, have a meal, read the newspaper, catch a little bit of time on the TV, and go to sleep. So your time may be more there. You may have 16 hours a day at home and 8 hours at work, although most Indians I know, they don't work 8 hours. Most of them work well over that. But the time that you're there, you're sleeping, much of it. You don't even have that much time for your kids except on the weekends. But during the day, when you're awake, you're in the workplace. So what I wanted to talk to you about tonight was how to create a happy, healthy environment, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy. If you're mentally and emotionally healthy, your physical body will take care of itself, because whatever is going on in our mind is manifested in the physical body. When you have aches and pains, I don't know why I have a backache, I don't know why I get these headaches, I don't know why my neck is paining me, I don't know why I have indigestion, you usually can trace it back to an emotional problem, stress of some kind. It might be ongoing stress, it might be just incident after incident that you react to. So I was giving some thought to this, and I thought, you know, how many here are employees in a company? Okay? How many of you are company owners or CEO, top management? Few. Few bosses, many workers. Good. It takes both parties to create a healthy work environment. Just the same as it takes a husband and a wife together, through compromise, through partnership, to make a happy marriage. Your workplace, that's your family. 8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, that is your family. If you think of it in that way, whether you're a boss or an employee, you realize, what do I have to do? Think of what you have to do to keep peace at home. And most of the men might say, I just have to keep my mouth shut. Whatever my wife says, please go, Cindy, okay, whatever you want, yes, okay. That's not really a partnership. That's avoiding confrontation. It's a difference. So, we have to know, what does the employer have to do? What does the employee have to do? And what do they both have to do in common? So for that, I made up a chart, which I'm going to share with you on the board, which Ms. Mina so nicely provided for me. And we'll go over this, but I also want you to be thinking of what you want to add to this list. Okay, I think everybody knows what a Venn diagram is. Okay. Can you all see this? Employer. Employee. And book. Okay, we'll start with what the employer first needs to do, which is to provide a clean work environment. That includes the bathrooms, the cafeteria, and the general work area. You don't like to go home to a dirty house. Well, neither do people like to go into a dirty workplace. Your environment will reflect your mood. Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. As I said, this includes, I don't want to put everything, it'll be too long a list, the bathrooms, cafeteria, and the general workplace. And even the outside, you go to some of the top-notch companies, and I can definitely say Roots since they make cleaning equipment, whenever you go there, you see a lot of greenery, you see a lot of grass, you see people working in the garden, watering the plants, and using the cleaning equipment to clean the parking area and the walkways. You never see trash. I have never seen trash at Roots. So, care for your employees as fellow human beings, not just bodies to fill a position. Very often employees are made to feel, I'm not important. As long as I'm doing the work and they have a body to put into that work slot, they're happy. But I'm a person. I have a life. I have a family. I have feelings. Some days I just have a bad day. We all have a bad day. So care for your employees as fellow human beings. At some point or other, your employees will want to come in and speak to the top person. Maybe they're having a problem with their supervisor. It's not going anywhere. Even if they try to speak, it will get them into trouble. They need help, and they may want to have access to you to talk to you. How they talk to you, I'll deal with in terms of the employee's responsibility. But once in a while, you may have to have your door open for them to come in. Okay? It's important. Because what happens, especially if the company is big, you have different people in charge of different departments. You can't go around and see every single place yourself every day. So you rely on other people as liaison or connection to give you, it would maybe the HOD or something, to give you feedback what's happening. It may often be colored by their perception and their likes and dislikes. If that's the case, at some point there may be a major problem that an employee has, and naturally, if that's the person they're having the problem with, they have to go to the top person for help. So speak to your employees from your heart. Make them feel safe and comfortable to come to you and discuss a problem. Now, I am not saying that employees should go to the top person for every single little complaint they have. I'm talking about a major problem that may come up that needs to be resolved in a fair way, okay? Treat all employees with equal fairness and don't show favoritism. This requires you to keep your personal and your professional relationships and businesses separate. Now, I was a teacher for many years. When I leave the house in the morning, any issues I have of a personal nature stay in my house. I didn't bring it to school. The people that used to bring the problems to school would take it out on their co-workers, take it out on the students. It never works. You have to be able to turn off the switch and say, okay, I had a fight with my husband or wife this morning, and that's an issue I will deal with when I get home. I am not going to take that emotion into the job today because it will affect everybody. Even if you don't speak of it, your mood is contagious. 5. Be an active listener. Who knows what an active listener is?
Someone who pays full attention to the person who is talking to him or her,
Okay.
and is able to assimilate what that person wants from him.
Okay, that's 2 of the 3. One more thing. What should the response be? How do you show that you're listening?
By just by response. If he takes that person, you will response.
Okay.
Say yes.
Ask questions.
Pardon?
You can ask questions.
You can ask questions, okay? Feedback we're getting to. What kind of feedback? Let's do a little bit of role play for this because it's very important. Who can make up a problem that they come to me as their boss to discuss? Yeah, but who can play out the role of the employee with the problem? You do? You don't have any problems?
I can.
You can? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I have a small complaint.
Okay. Please come and sit down, make yourself comfortable, and let's talk. It's the role play, okay? I'm for a change, I'm the boss.
The room is perpetually dirty. And I have talked about this to the person for a long time. But I find no action to be taken. So unfortunately,
Okay, so it sounds like there's been an ongoing problem with cleanliness, and that you have tried your best to go to the people in charge of cleaning it and see if you could resolve it, but there has been no response. Okay, what I just did was I paraphrased back to him in my own words what he said to confirm that I understand what his complaint is. I just put it into my own words. Okay? You all got that? Okay. That's called active listening. Now how did you feel when I said that?
I felt that you were paying attention to my problem.
Okay. That's important. You
You
felt
understood
that
the problem.
Pardon? I understood the problem.
That's the first.
I paid attention and I understood because I really listened. I heard and I listened. These things hear. These things listen. Okay? He has a genuine complaint. So then I would follow it up with, I'm going to look into that because sanitation and hygiene is one of the important principles under which I run my company. So thank you for bringing it to my attention. I really appreciate it very much. And feel free to come to me whenever a situation that you've tried to resolve doesn't get resolved. So I'm making him feel comfortable and safe that he knows I care. Now we're talking about the bathroom. It's important. Every employee uses the bathroom from the top to the bottom. It's a genuine concern of an employee. So when you make the employee feel that they did the right thing to come and tell you, because he did try to straighten it out himself. He didn't just come into me and start complaining. He had tried to resolve it, but the people that could resolve it didn't. So at that point, he had to go to the next step up the chain of command. So thank you so much, sir, for coming and seeing me, and I'll attend to that today itself, okay?
Thank you very much. I hope I don't have to come back to you for this.
I hope so too. I'll see to it that you don't.
Thank you.
And then I immediately call whoever it is into my office and say this has been an ongoing concern. I do not mention his name. He doesn't need to be hassled. But I do say I have received several complaints that the bathrooms are not being kept clean. How often? Let me see your work schedule. How many workers do you have? How often are the bathrooms clean? How often are they fully washed down, walls, floors, everything, should be done at the end of the day, and I work with them to make sure that that schedule is followed. Otherwise, where are they? Empty. Okay? Good, so after Worcester, this is a good one. Provide decent salaries and benefits. It keeps employees happy. It makes them feel valued. Everything is not about how much can I save, whose salaries can I cut down on, how many people can I get rid of because profit has become the god. We all have to make a profit. Nobody owns a business and invests their money not to make a profit. But it shouldn't be at the expense of the human beings that work for us, that keep the company going, that enable us to have the big houses and the fancy cars. Okay? Everybody wants a decent life. So this is very, very important, because why do people come to work? To earn money, to support their family. So you have to see what is fair. And if you can give some incentives where they can have a chance maybe to earn a bonus or some benefit or something to strive for, they'll work even harder happily if they know that you care about them. Okay? Salaries and benefits, and this is important, opportunities for advancement. Nobody wants to feel, I'm going to be doing this forever. They want to know, I have a chance to go up the ladder. If I work hard, if I'm dedicated and committed, I have a chance to earn more money at a higher level of employment. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to take your job as a CEO, but the thing is, there are some companies that hire outside when there's an opening. Always try to hire from within. Because then, if you hire from the outside, your own employees will feel, well, what am I killing myself for? When there's a job opening, they go outside and they get some stranger to come in and then boss us around and they don't even know what the company's about. The most valuable employee is the one who starts at the bottom and works their way up. Now you heard Mr. OAB tell you what I did at the ashram, right? Ashram president, was an international coordinator, Swamiji secretary. You know what my first job was? Cleaning the toilets, receptioning at the front desk, making up the guest rooms, cleaning the guest rooms, changing the bed sheets, doing the laundry. By the time I became ashram president, and it was appointed by Gurudev, I had done every job in the ashram. And I will still be happy to clean the toilet today. I'll tell you why. You know, sometimes women get just really frustrated. Oh, they can't change this, they can't change that. Clean a closet and clean a toilet. You'll see immediately the sink will glow if you use the Vim powder and the scrubbing brush, and there's a feeling of satisfaction. Ah, look how nice and clean that looks. Or put your closet or your drawers in order, and you can look at it and say, that looks great, and you leave feeling better. Am I correct? Something about cleaning brings some satisfaction to women. It's not demeaning, it's therapy. Okay, I went over this already. Even if it's a large company and there is a chain of command, be accessible to employees who may occasionally need to speak with you rather than their immediate supervisor for some reason. Maybe the problem they're having is with the supervisor. Okay? rules, regulations, and guidelines, but remember there may be extenuating circumstances, so be flexible when the situation requires. Now, a common complaint I hear, they're always taking leave. It's true. Every time I try to contact somebody, oh, he's on leave today. Whether it's the bank, whether it's at a shop where I had an appointment to go and meet somebody or pick something up. Every time I want to get something done, the person is on leave. In U.S., we have the same. Time is money. Now, things are done a little bit differently here because your marriages and functions take place according to astrological good times and bad times. In the U.S., take place on Saturday and Sunday. Americans are workaholics, but it's a rich country. Huh? So, we get, I think it's 1 day a month, which you can use either as sick leave or a personal day, which means you don't take more than 12 days a year. And you get into that mindset, and it's not even an issue. But here, you know, even at the school where I am, they say, "Mom, please talk to these teachers, make the leave." And that means that they have to give their classes to everybody else. Well, in a company, the boss still has the job to get done. If you're always taking leave, you will not be a valued employee. So have the rules and regulations. If you're the boss, know that once in a while there is an emergency, extenuating circumstance, but for the most part, everybody should adhere to the rules and regulations. Sometimes be flexible when necessary. Bosses, don't be bossy. Don't be bossy. With authority comes the responsibility to use the authority wisely in the best interest of all. It's not to increase your head weight. It's not to establish I'm the boss and you are low. A good administrator, and I did administration for 20 years, and believe me, it takes you years to become a good administrator. It's an art form. Your job is to keep things running smoothly. And you have all the responsibility. The buck stops at your desk, ultimately. So who you hire, the hiring practices, the overall running of the company stops at your desk, ultimately. It's not just about, oh, I put in waxing floors and this is my company and you all better do what I say. Nobody likes being bossed around. They know you're the boss. It's not a big deal. They know who the boss is, the CEO or the owner or whatever. But it's in your attitude. See yourself as literally the servant of the company. Now, 2 years ago I had the privilege and honor and blessing to meet the Maharaja of Travancore. And while I was there, he presented me with his autobiography that he had written. Beautiful book, beautiful. He's an elderly man now. Throughout the book, the same thing was there. Our entire lineage, we are servants of Padmanabha Swami. We don't own the temple. We are there as his devotees, custodians. Look at yourself as the custodian of your company. God has blessed you with the ability to have a company, to have the money to put it together, but your attitude is what will make it a success. If you have a lot of head weight and arrogance, people are, they may work for you for money, but they won't really like you or respect you. And real respect cannot be demanded, it must be earned. To earn respect, humility is the number one quality. Almost finished. Boss, give fair and honest evaluations and feedback on an employee's quality of work and overall attitude in the workplace, leaving aside your personal feelings toward the employee, whether positive or negative. In other words, be fair. Evaluate their work and attitude toward the job and in the workplace with their colleagues. That's all you need to evaluate. Even if you can't stand the person, you have to ask, is he doing the job? Is she doing the job? Do they get along with everyone? Are they a team player? Then give a good evaluation. Nobody asks you to be best friends with every employee. Okay? So fair and honest evaluation. Doesn't matter if somebody happens to also be your friend and they're not doing the job. Separate your personal relationship from your job as a boss. Now you're going to turn around and say, well, I don't know, that's very hard to do. When Swamiji called one day and appointed me as ashram president, I had been in the ashram for 5 years. I made many friends. Some of them are still my friends today, many, many years later. The first thing I did, I called together a meeting of all the ashram members, and I said, I just want to let you know that Gurudev called me today and gave me this responsibility, and I know that I've had a personal friendship with many of you, but I'm going to say right now, the first day, please do not think that my personal friendship with you will in any way affect my carrying out my duties responsibly. If I have to correct you on something, I have to do it. Not as a friend, as the person in charge of seeing that Gurudev's ashram runs smoothly. So please don't ever try to bring our friendship into the issue. My friendship with you will remain intact, but I will do my job because this is Gurudev's ashram. I'm his custodian in his absence. And nobody ever gave me a problem. Once you make it clear and you set the boundaries, then people know what to expect and what not to expect. The last one for employers. Try to explain reasons for any changes in rules, regulations, or how things have been done before. God always gave me two opposites. So I could always see, this way will result in this, and this way will result in that. My mother, in raising me, would say, you do it because I'm your mother and I said so. Don't ask me any questions, just do it. My father would sit me down and say, the reason I'm asking you to do this is because, and he would explain the reason. So who do you think I was always more readily willing to listen to and obey? Father, of course. I'm a real daddy's girl. Because he said, when I'm not here, I want you to know how to arrive at the correct decision. decision. If you're only doing it because you're afraid you're going to be punished or hit, you're not really learning. Same thing with employees. Share with them why you make changes, why you can or cannot do something. When they understand, they won't be dissatisfied or negative or complaining. Now, employees, most of you. Please don't take advantage of your boss's kindness. If you have a good boss that is doing all these things and caring about his family of employees, don't try to push and push and push for more. Appreciate what they're doing. Think of things from the boss's situation. And bosses, you need to think of things from the employee's situation. If you have a shop or a business where you sell things, the seller, and this comes straight from my guru, the seller should always mentally put himself in the position of the buyer, and the buyer should always put himself mentally in the position of the seller. If you do that, the seller will not cheat the buyer, and the buyer will not try to get the product for free because he knows the seller has to make some reasonable profit to run the business and support the family. It's learning to think of the other person's point of view. Number 2, 4 words. Let me see if anybody knows this. What are the 4 words that you should never say? 4 words.
Yes, I admit my mistake.
It's good to say I don't know.
I don't know. Yes, I admit my mistake. Always.
No, that's what you should say. You should admit your mistake. The 4 words you should never say is, it's not my job. Okay? One time when I was living at the Institute in New York, I took a temporary job at Citibank. And I was sending my salary down to Lotus, which is Lotus Temple in the ashram to be built. And one day, Swamiji came up to New York, and I said, oh, Gurudev, several of the Sangha members, we all work in Midtown Manhattan, New York. We'd like to take you for lunch. I said, why don't you come see where I work? So you have to understand, Citibank is 3-piece suit, white shirt, tie, everybody looks the same, everybody speaks the same. It's like a cookie cutter type of place. In walks this Indian guru with a long beard, long hair, and orange robe. I never, remember I told you today, I don't realize certain things about people. I never realized Swamiji had an accent. And somebody said, oh, his Indian accent, it took a while to get used to it. I said, he doesn't have an accent. He said, of course he does. He said, no. And then I listened. Next time I heard him, oh yeah, I guess he does. I don't know. I never noticed an accent. Anyway, he comes up and he meets my boss, who was a young man, maybe about 30, 32 years old, in charge of a big department. And at first, when he saw Swamiji, this was his reaction. And I said, Tom, I'd like you to meet my guru, Swami Satchidananda. And of course, Swamiji, always appropriate, took his hand. He didn't even go like this because he knew that these people wouldn't understand it. So Tom looked at him and he said, she's amazing. Oh, how so? She never says it's not my job. If I ask her to take a memo to the desk down the hall or to please get a cup of coffee, she never looks at me in a strange way or says, it's not my job. And he said, I had to just fire 2 girls this week because every time I asked them to do something, they would say it's not my job. And he said, but she's fantastic. And he said, yoga in action. You know my philosophy? If you're paying me for 8 hours, I'm giving you my time. If you ask me to sweep the floor, I'll sweep the floor. If you ask me to make you coffee, I'll make you coffee. If you ask me to type a memo, I will type a memo. I don't care what I do for those 8 hours as long as it's not a crime. So why should I care? Some people go, oh, boss asked me to make coffee, what does he think I can serve him? I said, I don't know, maybe he likes the way you make the coffee, maybe it's a compliment. Important, please, never engage in gossip. Okay? Nothing ruins the morale of an organization, whether it's a temple, a church, a mosque, a school, a company, or whatever, than negative gossip. And it's hard, because all around you, you're hearing all day, blah, 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 he did this, she said that, blah, blah, blah. Don't. Happiness is as contagious as anger. All these talking things we have in our pockets. Staff rooms, lunch rooms, cafeterias, they are hotbeds of dissension and negativity. I, as a teacher, used to eat in my classroom to avoid hearing it. Even now, I eat at my desk in the school. If you have something to tell me that's important, that you need help with, come and discuss it with me. But I will not sit in the teacher's staff room and listen to all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. You have a real complaint? Who is the right person you need to speak to? Go and speak with them. Don't get dragged into everybody else's mud. It's very easy to go down. It's very hard to come up. Why do you think hell is down there and heaven is up there? Try to keep a positive attitude. If somebody is very negative, try and help them to see the positive, because nothing is all bad or all good. There's always something you can find to say good about something or someone. Be a team player. Before I left the States to come here in 2009, I was listening to a program where employers were complaining that they didn't have enough people hired to fill the jobs. So the person doing the interview said, what's the matter? Because of the educational system? Oh no, we have people with good skills. They don't know how to get along with other people and be an equal team player. Now, if this needs to be made, you have different people doing different parts of the job. Don't worry about the credit. Do your job to the best of your ability and take pride in your work. It's not about name recognition all the time. I compare that to a tree. You have a tree, and it's getting nice shade. Imagine if one leaf jumps up and says, only because of me you all are getting the shade. What a wonderful leaf I am. I'm more important than the other leaves. You would look at the leaf and you would say, huh, why give me the credit, huh? It's crazy. So be a team player. You are part of. All together, if everybody does their job properly, that gets made properly. If the quality control inspector doesn't inspect it before it goes out of your company and you put it out for sale, you will end up with a huge recall of all these particular items that were sold with false and things that did not work, so your company gets a bad name. You are part, but you are not the only one. Be dedicated and committed. Take pride in your work. If you're dedicated and committed, your boss will value you. You're doing a quality job. Refrain from complaining. If you have a legitimate complaint, you and I work together, and I can say this because we get along so well, and we have a problem. I would try to sit down and talk about it, say, you know, there's an issue here that I would like to clear up with you. Hopefully, if you have the similar mindset, your response would be, okay, sure, please sit down. What is the issue? But if you're a petty-minded person, saying, I don't have any problem with you, what's going on? It's all your fault. Okay, with a person like that, you're not going to make any headway. Then you have to see who is the next person up the line. I tried to approach you, you put me down, and you put a block. So this isn't going to work. So then I go to you, since you are our supervisor of our department. I don't go in and say, you know, I want to tell you something about that guy. You know, he's so nasty. I go in and I say, sir, may I please have, always keep quiet. When you have a few moments, there's something I need to speak to you about. We set a time. You make me feel safe and comfortable, right? Okay. You know, an issue has come up between myself and Wavy, and I did try and talk with him, but it didn't go anywhere. He seemed to be resistant, but it is a problem that's affecting productivity, not whether I like him or not. Doesn't matter. I don't have to like him as my best friend, right? BFF. No. I have to be able to get the job done, and whatever the problem is stopping the productivity. That's all you want to hear. Oh, only 3 ladies in here. Ladies, women handle things differently. Women want to talk about the issue. Men want to know problem, solution, end of discussion. The rest of it, they're not going to hear it. Steady, back on. They don't engage like that. The woman feels relief when she has her sisterhood to go to talk to. Men only want to know problem, solution, fix it. Am I correct? Don't think because I'm a Swami I don't know what life is like, huh? Okay, so then I talk to you about the situation, leaving out emotions and personal likes and dislikes. And I ask you, sir, what do you advise me to do in this situation? Now, you may realize what it's like, and you may say, okay, I'll call you both him, which is the best way to do it. Because if you go to him, he's going to tell you one story. You then have to come back and check it with me. I refute the story. You have to go back and check it with him. When I was ashram president, you two have an issue. Both of you come into my office, have a seat. We will both talk. And I had this problem with the maintenance guys every night till 1 o'clock in the morning. These guys could not get along. But I never let one come in just to talk about the other. Because I'm not going to spend my time running around from pillar to post trying to find out the truth. You talk, you don't say anything right now, sir, please. You finished? Okay? No? Now you. Then I analyze the situation, and I come up with a solution. Simple. And don't complain to your colleagues. Go to the person that can fix the situation. Because if I go to her and I say, you know what OEB did to me? He had the nerve to talk to me like this about this and that, and it wasn't even true. I'm poisoning her against him. She is friends with her. Come lunchtime in the lunchroom, you know what Mark did you say about OEB, sir? Oh my God, I didn't know he was like that. And she goes, I also didn't know. Really? Goes around. Poor guy, maybe he made one mistake, but now he's nailed to the cross. Big one. Don't make personal phone calls or use the internet to check your email, surf the web during work time. It is stealing. Company time is company business. If you have a break or a lunch break and it is permitted in your company, okay. Otherwise, please do not. And don't take things. Oh, it's only 3 pads and 5 pens my kids needed for school. Get your salary, go to the stationery shop. If the company paid for this, and I take it without permission, I am stealing. You don't want the karma for stealing. I believe in the law of karma. I've seen it work my whole life. It's not just karma, karma, karma. It is real. I'm close to the end. Now, if you happen to see something you like, and you're sitting in the boss's office and you say, you know, this is really nice. I haven't seen one of these. I was looking for that, but where did you get it? And the boss kindly says, go ahead, take it. I have another one. You can take it. The boss gave the permission. Take pride in doing quality work. Be happy with the product. The end product of what you're supposed to be, whether it's in the form of a service or in the form of an object, okay? Look at it and say, that's the best possible job I could have done. Don't be watching the clock, waiting to run out the door, get the most amount of money for the least amount of time. If I was your boss, I would not keep you if you had that attitude, to be very honest. I always stay till the job is done. Okay, problem with a colleague, first try to work it out with them directly in a sincere, straightforward manner before taking it to your boss. Don't extend tea and lunch breaks. Sound familiar? Half an hour is half an hour. An hour is an hour. It's a form of stealing. It's your boss's time. Consciously work to make any improvements in your work or attitude as suggested by your boss. And last one is, don't be harsh to judge your boss's decisions or actions as unfair. Remember, they have an overview of the entire company and are aware of needs or situations you may know nothing about. If you feel the need to question them, do so with an attitude of wanting to understand, not criticizing. And remember, they are not obligated to account to you. Okay. Okay, and then just a couple of things I have that both people need to do. put yourself in each other's position and see the other person's point of view. Mentally, put yourself in their situation. Keep personal and professional. Lives separate. Leave personal problems at home. Be loyal. Loyalty is something that seems to have gone by the wayside for money. In fact, people always tell me, Mataji, you always trust people too much. But you need to know, in India, money trumps everything. Relationships, jobs, friendships, everything. Everybody will betray you if it comes to money. Don't make money your God. You go to watch and you ask. And if she gives it, fine. And if she doesn't, it means it's not meant for you. But don't sacrifice your spiritual wealth of friendships and connections with human beings over money. Money comes and goes. So be loyal, and be loyal to your company. As long as you work for me, be loyal to my company. If you don't like it and you hate it, please go look for another job, and we'll both be happy, and I wish you well. Pick your battles. Don't turn everything into a big confrontation over every little small thing. People are not perfect. I'm not perfect, none of you are perfect. If we were, we wouldn't need to be here. If something is important, deal with it. If you can let it go, adjust a little bit. Because somebody told me something years ago that I didn't understand until I lived many years after that. Nobody is ever intentionally doing their worst. Everybody's doing the best they can at the place they are at, in the situation they are at, with the skills and abilities that they have. Nobody is trying to become useless, worthless, good for nothing. Everybody's trying. Even if you're up here and they're functioning down here, that's the level that they're at. Help them from this level come up. And do it slowly. Don't expect them to go from here to your level thinking. Last thing, do your part to add to the peace and harmony in your department and the company as a whole, so all can enjoy coming into work each day. Happy, kind, and caring employers make happy, contented, and grateful employees who will give their best to the job. And happy, satisfied employees make the bosses happy too, so it's a win-win situation. Thank you very much. Now,
Any clarifications or questions?
anybody has any question, any comment, or anything you think I need to add to the list?
Points like, even if an employee has done something wrong, not admonishing him in front of.
Right, very important, very important. Bring them into the office and talk to them privately. Nobody likes to be humiliated. That's part of what both, number one, have to practice, putting yourself in the other person's position. If you humiliate a person, first of all, you have lost the loyalty of that employee. They'll never trust you again. And neither will the rest of the employees, because they know tomorrow you may do it to them. So they will avoid you. The minute they see you, they'll run away. It's a very good point. Thank you, sir.
The thought process that if it is to be appreciated, you might have to appreciate this performance in the presence of the employee in public.
Yeah, you can always praise publicly and correct in private. Even children. Children feel humiliation. They have the same feelings we do. Some people feel that it makes them feel big to be scolding someone and acting like the boss. That's the being bossy part. No, bring them in and talk about the situation, what the issue is. Don't get into personal likes, dislikes, and attitudes and feelings.
And taking credit for the performance of the subordinates or the staff. It is my performance is also to be avoided, it will be never employed. But I give the credit to the employee. And
I would love to work for you. Yeah, really. Acknowledge them when they do a good job. When you praise somebody, you have just increased their loyalty and their appreciation, and they will work for you even harder. They won't leave you, because where are they going to find another boss like this gentleman? Which company do you own?
no, I was in the defense services
Defense.
as an average marshal, retired. Now I'm running a college.
Oh, okay. Good. Well, whoever works under you is very lucky. But these are some points, you know, very, very well taken. And appreciate a boss who gives you credit. All too often, the people in the supervisory middle management will try to take credit for what the individual employees have done. It's not fair. And as an employer, try to have some kind of reward system, you know, maybe once a year, awards for the most productive employee, the one who has made the most progress, the one who has saved the most money for the company. Make up some categories and give credit to those people. Anybody else? Okay, well, I want to thank you all so much. You've been great. Yes?
Second point in employee, you say never say it's not my job, but I have seen some workplaces, if you keep nodding your head for everything, you know, the boss makes sure that he exploits you and
Well, the opposite side of that is that the boss should not take undue advantage and exploit the employees. Yeah. In all of this, you have to have certain boundaries and common sense. Now, if it's something that's immaterial and not important, fine, do it. Like I said, if my boss asks me to make a cup of coffee, I'll go make a cup of coffee. If he asks me, can you bring this to OAB's cabin, I'll take it. But if it's a reasonable request, then you have to sit and talk with him. Because sometimes they just get in the habit, oh, so-and-so will always do it, so-and-so will always do it, so-and-so will always do it, and everybody's dumping on with so-and-so. That's not fair either. And it will interfere with your productivity of getting your particular job done if you're always running around doing other things. So then you have to say, sir, I don't mind, and you have to be kind with it. I don't mind doing these other jobs that you asked me to do. I'm very happy to. I just want you to be aware that the time it takes me to do these things, going to the bank for the boss, going shopping for the boss, is what it's cutting into the time of whatever your job is. In other words, you're making him aware. The minute he's aware, he'll probably say, oh, right, I didn't think of that. Okay, never mind, I'll ask so-and-so. And you'll get 5 or 6 people and shuffle them around. Okay? But employees are not your personal servants. They're your employees. They're hired to do a job.
The most important point is, the automatic combination, most of the points is, the first point you are going to see the person's point of view.
Yes.
Most of the problems will be solved if you can look at the issue from the other one's point of view. most of the things automatically is sorted.
See, to put it in a nutshell, all of this just gets taken care of by number one under both. Thank you. Good point.
Last.
Yes.
Another question is, most of the employers, as you said in the sixth performance, provide decent salary, benefits, and practical. They make all the product also. And we
They promise and then they don't deliver.
When they make the profit at the cost of the,
Yes.
what happens to the
Greedy. Plain and simple. And if you work for that kind of a company, get out. Because they will never consider you. They'll be buying big fancy cars and building 3 and 4 homes and have all kinds of side businesses, and you'll be struggling to put food in your children's stomach. No, you don't want to work for people that think only of themselves. I mean, boss should enjoy a nice life. You know, I'm not saying no, but within reason, not at the expense of the daily living needs of the employee. And I know some companies, they'll have some guy in was the human relations or one of those kind of departments. Their whole job is to keep out unions, keep salaries low, keep profits high. That's not good. Human relations should be to build harmony in the company and be very careful in hiring the people you need that think and have the same goals that you want your company to be run on. Yes? One more person. You back?
That's right.
Yes.
And most of the government organizations I see is they think the boss, they think appeasement is their birthright. So all subordinates, they should appease. As they go up the ladder, they also like the appeasement. So it is a vicious cycle, just keep on going on and on. And if you see many of the government organizations in India,
You know what
they
it's
seek
like?
appeasement. If somebody appeases me, yes, he gets everything signed, all his loans are sanctioned in time, no time. Otherwise, if you don't appease me, you are straightforward, I will keep your file for 2 or 3 months, you struggle, you go somewhere, being a permanent employee, you cannot move as employers, you can just provide the job and find a new one. Here we are committed to one job, 20, 30 years, government organization, as I know. So this is what happens. How to handle this sort of problem? I hope I have conveyed my...
The only way you can handle it is think twice before you take a government job. The woman gets married, she's the daughter-in-law. She's treated like a house servant, and one day she becomes the mother-in-law, and now it's my turn. That's the attitude.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I know how I felt when I was treated that way, I will not become what I did not respect in another person. But that takes a lot of integrity. If the world was full of integrity, we would not be in the situation that we're in. One big world mess of everybody dog-eat-dog, get mine at the cost of everybody else. Integrity is something very few people have. But if the boss has integrity, he's an amazing example to all the way down the line. It filters. What I have seen in every organization, the person at the top and their character sets the tone for everybody else. Even in the ashram, I experienced this. We had one of our other ashram presidents before me who used to just love to socialize. Any excuse. We go to the householders and have a meal, go here, have a party, go to the cinema. And everybody was only into social life. Every time I tried to contact the department, nobody was there. They were all out with this person.
I would like to, one more disclosure. I'm also a defense person. I was in the Navy for 15 years. So, here in service as well as in defense services, there we got our vice admiral, vice marshal. 25% of government, including defense services, entire effort in India, government services, including defense, I reiterate, it goes into only the appeasement of higher-ups.
Yeah.
All our cost, time, money, everything is utter waste. They say it is a hierarchy, it is a custom, convention, different norms. Because I would say, even in private organization, also the culture in India, which is that we have been ruled by Maharajas for centuries, millenniums. So that has come into the gene.
And also, don't forget, when the British
so
came in,
yeah.
they had that whole hierarchical system.
Hierarchy.
You have to consciously, and we can only be responsible for ourselves. If I know that this is wrong, I don't do it, even if everybody around me is doing it, because I need to live with myself. At the end of the day, I should go to sleep with a clear conscience and have a good night's sleep. I don't want to be always looking around who was out to get me, who was out to stab me in the back like I stabbed them last week. You're not going to change everybody, but you do what you know is the right thing, and that will give you happiness and fulfillment in your life. And if the others, if you serve as an example and that motivates other people, good. If not, at least you're happy. Because those people are not happy. Happy people don't exploit others. Happy people are not mean and nasty. Happy people are not trying to always prove that they're higher than somebody else. A happy person is happy with everybody.
Even a self-disciplined person who becomes boss, he was tuned in such a way that he was appeased involuntarily. He doesn't need that, but he was given all those types of.
Because they're used to being in the slave mentality.
Yes. So the people and those who are employees and those in the lower hierarchy, they are also making him to become
Yes.
appeasement level.
Well, remember what the British said. India, we can't conquer India because they're happy. They have systems that work. So we go in and we divide and conquer. And that mentality is still there, even subconsciously, when people do this. So just for yourself, I refuse to be a continuum of the slave mentality under the British. We threw them out, you threw them out also.
In service we take both to the President of India. Why to the President of India? It should be for the people of India. People of India. President is a figurehead. People of India.
He has
So
no power.
from that very term itself, it is appeasement. There is
Yeah.
their
Well, because the
important
British,
thing is that
the
they want to appease the higher ups.
The British rewarded with titles. To get you to do what I want, I give you a title. And then you feel,
That's one kind of life.
and I always say, you give somebody a pad, a pencil, a table, and a chair, they all become Maharajas.
That's good.
One question.
Thank you, Mr.
Employer.
Yes.
The second point you mentioned,
Mhm.
employer must care the employees best.
Mhm.
Many organizations say employees do not enjoy even the promoter rates.
Right.
Many organizations say foundation are doing this not well. Walmart is the biggest rates organization in the world.
What is?
Walmart.
Walmart, yeah.
Even such an organization, foundation are doing this.
Yeah. Well, there's two sides to union. One is, ideally, it is supposed to be a protection of the rights of the employees. But also, and I've seen this in the US, they have become tools for fighting the employer. You know, overly demanding, demonstrating, protesting, refusing to work. So either extreme is no good. The best thing is, in fact, I'll tell you the truth, if I had a business, I would want to keep it small so that I could be involved with everybody. I don't need to keep expanding. Walmart was a little corner grocery store, like a, what do you call it, convenience store. Now it's become worldwide. But I would question a company that doesn't want a union. But it should be a properly run union for the benefit of both. And if you're not happy in the company, leave. But I mean, I know it's hard in India because it's 1.3 billion people, so the competition for a job is, yeah. But that's why I was telling the gentleman back there, you do what you know is the right thing. At least you can have personal satisfaction from your own character and integrity and know God watches everything, ultimately.
Getting work nowadays from an employee is really a big task nowadays. How can an employer get a work from employee without spoiling the relationship?
You mean how to extract work from the employee? Well, first of all, that comes down to the hiring practices. If I am interviewing, I interview from here, I look at the resume, my conversation, but I also tune in here. What's the vibration I'm getting from this person? If I'm getting a feeling that you're just telling me what I want to hear, then I'm not interested to hire you. If I get a comfortable feeling, I would lay down very clearly what I expect, and I would have a probationary period. In that period of time, you can be dismissed without a reason that you cannot fight against if I feel that you are not doing quality work. But if I'm a quality employer, I will be a motivator for my employees to follow suit. Sure. That's why he wanted you all to hurry so you could ask this question.
See, so all these points make a boss or an employee a good person. But you see, the success stories, for example, if you take general thing, starting from Jack Welch, and Jack Welch is the CEO of
General Electric, yeah.
General Electric, and take Coke or German or today's company, very successful company, Argus German. They are autocratic and they become successful. How, if we are having this kind of qualities, your employer may be seen as a good employer, may not be a successful employer. They are having good qualities. They are having a slightly, mostly contradicting these characters. They are having the characters. They have the qualities.
What about Narayana Murthy?
No.
Infosys. They say he's a
No,
very
there are
wonderful
examples like that
person.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are examples for like that also. There are companies who came up and they are number one, like GE, Coke, Oracle, or many companies like that, whose bosses are autocratic. They are successful also. There are also thousands of people working. How we can take this step?
Well, I think when you go to work for a large corporation like that, you have to realize that this is what I have to sacrifice. Am I willing to sell my soul for the almighty rupee?
It is up to the employees.
Yeah. If you know that this is the way the company operates, then you decide, do I want to work for that kind of company or not? If you know that a company is run by a person with integrity and kindness and these because, as employers, your reputation gets known around. People know if you're a great guy to work for or not. If you're not, and you make all your profit and advancement and growth through the contradiction of these, then am I willing to sell out for the money and the good salary and be humiliated and have my soul and spirit destroyed? My answer personally would be no, because money does not mean that much to me. Money is necessary. I'm not saying that, as a sannyasi, we should all think about God and not think about money. No. Rent has to be paid, food has to be purchased, petrol has to be put in the vehicle. If you have a family, you must provide for them. That is your first dharma. But at a certain point, money then becomes extra. Now, if you want all the extras and you sell out for it, then that's the agreement you make with the devil. If you say, I want to earn enough, Rajan, my acting driver, right? He always says, Mataji, if I can put food on the table, pay my rent and my children's school fees, that's enough. Everything extra God wants to send me, Hari Om, thank you. But I will not make my life a hell for money. And that's why he got a job with a company, for that reason. And I admire him. He really, really has mastered the art of contentment. And he was always that way. He's happy. He's happier than most of the people I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience.
On behalf of everyone of you, I give small thank you to Mataji. Thank you.